Yo, welcome to the Superkick Podcast. I'm your host, Ringside P. And obviously, by the title of the podcast, you can tell it's probably going to be a show about wrestling. So, mainly a show about WWE, maybe sprinkles of AEW every once in a while, depending on the news and what's going on. But I'm mostly going to be covering Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, possibly some NXT, but mostly Raw and SmackDown. Kind of go over maybe a recap of the shows every once in a while, but I want to kind of stick to different storylines that's going on, wrestlers that need to be pushed, wrestlers that possibly don't need to be pushed, and just our overall thoughts on just big news and opinions of things that's going on in WWE. You can see that I'm a big fan. I've been a fan since I was little, maybe since 92. Remember my mom getting cable for the first time and seeing like Doink the Clown, Bret Hart versus Jerry King Lawyer, and the Kiss My Foot match. And I remember Jerry King just that whole like build up to the match, him walking around in the farm barefoot and then losing the match and having to kiss his own foot back in the day, just crazy stuff like that. If you like what we're trying to do here, what I'm trying to do, like, subscribe, share, comment. Let me know your thoughts, how long you've been a fan or whatnot, things you love most about WWE, things that you hate about WWE, just things in general. So let's kick this show off, the very first show, with the biggest news in sports entertainment and pro wrestling, the return of CM Punk. After nearly 10 years of being gone from the WWE, Punk made his return back at Survivor Series War Games in Chicago. I think many people was kind of surprised and didn't think that'd be a possibility, but I think some people kind of had expectations of him returning once he was released from AEW. I think it was like mid-August. So I was at the show, and I kind of remember people starting the classic CM Punk chants, but this time it was different because people were starting to boo. And that was kind of maybe the first time I ever experienced that before, where people were booing CM Punk, just the name of him. So I was kind of wasn't really sure if people wanted him to return or not. But by the end of the show, which was like an amazing show at that, like War Games was just on point in general. And honestly, that CM Punk return was just icing on the cake of a great just pay-per-view. So we watching the match, and it's the end of the War Games, and Team Cody wins, and just seeing what's going on in the ring, they just celebrating, just talking it up or whatnot. Then all of a sudden that CM Punk music hit, and then the crowd just goes absolutely nuts. There are no boos in Allstate Arena that night, and the man comes out, and the roof is ready to pop off the place. Everyone's cheering. It seems like he's genuinely happy just to be back, and he's feeling the energy, and the energy is just crazy inside there, like nothing I ever felt before. I remember being back at the UC when he returned at AEW, and it was kind of electric, and I tried not to read none of any of the dirt sheets, and I like to, when I try to go to events, to try to be blind, so I just kind of just be a fan and not really know what's going on. So I really didn't know, or I didn't read anything about CM Punk popping back up, just like when he returned to AEW. But the energy there doesn't compare to at Allstate when he returned to WWE. So it was just electric, goosebumps. Everyone seemed to be, excited and happy that he was back, except for one guy, Seth Rollins, and he was visibly upset about everything. You can kind of see from fan footage of Corey Graves and Michael Cole holding him back, and he was throwing the middle finger, and there was a lot of, he wasn't happy. I can just say the least of that. But after that, we go to the next night, Monday Night Raw, and we go through our Raw, and even Seth, cuts a little promo, and the fans are chatting CM Punk, and he's not really, really feeling that or whatever, because he doesn't really care. It seems like he doesn't really care that Punk is back. And is it part reality? Is it part story? Who knows? It could be a little bit of both. Obviously, it's WWE, so it's a mixture of both, and they're just trying to do business. But It's always when it seems to be real, it's some sprinkle of realness into it. It does make the story a little bit better. So in the night, Monday Night Raw, Punk comes out, he cuts his promo, and for his first promo back in WWE after like nearly 10 years, it kind of just sounds like the same promo from AEW. You know, he sounds very appreciative of the fans and was thanking everyone for not forgetting about him, and you know, for 10 years or in WWE to say the least, fans would hijack the show. You know, there'd be countless times where there are matches going on. If the match wasn't good, you got them CM Punk chants. You get CM Punk chants doing random stuff, you know, and the fans we were taking over those shows, you know, just in the name of CM Punk. So the fact that he's back, I hope that, you know, those 10 years where we was hijacking shows, that it's worth it, you know, and we get a CM Punk back in WWE that we missed, and that was that guy who was dropping pipe bombs, that was saying stuff, that was the voice of the voiceless, that was, you know, just the anti-face, but he was still great, so great that you had to cheer for him. You know, he was the best in the world at the time. Is he still that best in the world caliber performer on the microphone, in ring ability or whatnot? Only time will tell in WWE, you know. But it was a pretty decent promo, solid. You know, he touched on the points he needed to touch on. Quote unquote saying that he's not here to make friends, he's here to make money. So we can take that as what it is at face value. Is he here just to do a match every once in a while? You know, when this little part-time contract, is he back full-time? Who knows? Can he handle a full-time schedule, you know, at the age that he's at? Or is a part-time best for him? I would like to see him as full-time, but who knows? It all depends on what the stories they're trying to put him in the future or whatnot. And where is he going to end up being? Is he going to be on SmackDown? Is he going to be on Monday Night Raw? Is he going to be one of those quote-unquote superstars that bounces to free agents that can go back brand to brand or whatnot? I mean, that does open up a lot of different possibilities for matches for him. If you think about wrestlers on Raw that we might be dope to see him wrestle, you think about like Finn Balor, you know. I think their styles and this way they wrestle might match up pretty well to get off a good couple good matches. We think about Sami Zayn, who is, along with Finn, is a great wrestler, and I think he matches up well with CM Punk too, and they might have just a even good like back and forth. I think Sami Zayn is pretty good on the mic too as well, so I think that'd be a good way for him and CM Punk if that was to come. Think about The Miz, who is probably very underrated in his wrestling, his mic skills, just as a performer in general. I think him and CM Punk, they make great TV, because The Miz hasn't been gone. You know, he's been here, he's been doing his thing for 20 plus years or whatnot. And so to see him and CM Punk, I think that might be a good matchup. And obviously, you know, based off what we saw at the end of War Games, Seth Rollins versus CM Punk. We know that Seth Rollins had some choice words for CM Punk when he wasn't there, you know, and Seth Rollins has been one of the faces. He has been one of the faces for WWE this whole time. Why Punk's been gone, you know, the counterpart to Roman Reigns in a sense. And Seth Rollins does it all, you know. So I would like to see Seth versus Punk. And what kind of match would that be? Would that be like a regular Monday Night Raw match? I doubt it. You know, it's too big of a match, you know. So it has to be something along the lines of like the Royal Rumble or WrestleMania, and trying to see how do we get to that point between those two. Do we stretch that? How do they stretch that story out to get to Mania? I mean, Royal Rumble is right around the corner anyway, so I think they should stretch it out to Mania if possible. Just interference or just tag teams or something like that, or whatever the case may be. I think it is a Royal Rumble. I think it is a WrestleMania quality match. Would it be for a title? I don't know. If it be for, I don't think it even needs to be for a title. It should just be just those two going 1-on-1. If I was to plan something like that, it would probably be something along the lines of Self is wrestling someone else, and Punk comes and interferes, and then would lead to Damian Priest cashing in the Money in the Bank, pinning Seth Rollins, new champ Damian Priest, and then now you got a Punk versus Seth feud, even more so. But we'll see how things go from now to Mania. Does it make me want to get a ticket to WrestleMania 40? I don't know. Possibly. I'm still waiting on one more piece for me to make me want to go to WrestleMania 40. So if that piece would be The Rock. If The Rock was to somehow have a match at WrestleMania 40, then by all means, then I think I would need to be there in that case. Well, like I said, we'll see. It might just be better for me just to watch it at home. It'd be the best view from the TV versus depending on what I can sit at in the stand in the arena in Philly. More so about Superkick Podcast. I'm not sure how the general format is going to be of the podcast. It's my first one, and I'm just trying to build from there. And maybe I want to try to find a way to make it 30 minutes or whatnot. Depends on the topics. There's enough wrestling to make the show go longer than that. Do I feel like talking that long? Man, I don't know. Do I really have the time to do that? I might not have the time to do that either. But I make it happen if the people want it, But you guys should, let me know. Let me know things to talk about. Go back and forth, Like, I'm seeing so much wrestling content from fans in general popping up. Like, I know there's people that are passionate about wrestling, that never stop being passionate about wrestling. They've been fans since the Attitude Era and before then, So let's just chop it up about it, If I had to give my personal thoughts on the return of CM Punk, to me it would all depend on, I don't want Punk to be one of those guys that just pops up just to get a check, and to take time away from guys that really deserve to be there and deserve the screen time. There are plenty of superstars that aren't getting the time and shine that they deserve because they might not have the bigger marquee name, But if Punk is able to come back and he's able to wrestle at a high quality and he's able to deliver promos like he used to, and he's still phenomenal on the microphone and all those type of things, by all means, then welcome back, But if we giving subpar promos and subpar matches or whatnot, then nah, man, send him somewhere else or just do something else. I think we all as WWE fans just want the best version of CM Punk that we can get. Now that WWE fans have waited 10 years for him to return back to WWE, it's definitely a different atmosphere than it once was, and it seems like a wrestler like Punk can thrive more in this era of WWE than he could back then, even though he was on top, back then. So I think this is the perfect storm and opportunity for Punk to be amazing, even more amazing than before. Like I said, we'll see how things go out and what they decide to creatively come up for him. So if he was to go, like we discussed things on Monday Night Raw for him, and we switched over to SmackDown, well, obviously the biggest thing that I think people will also be looking for to see Punk do is his interaction with Paul Heyman. He has long time history with Paul Heyman. The Paul Heyman guy, they had the shirts, but Paul Heyman's the wise man with Roman Reigns, the tribal chief. and see how that dynamic will play out, and those two, back and forth or whatnot. I think Punk is better than Roman Reigns on the microphone, so I think we would get that'd be lopsided right there. But what Roman Reigns lacks, Paul Heyman fills in perfectly, for Roman. So to see a back and forth between Paul Heyman and CM Punk, that would be, I'll pay to see something like that, To think about other people on SmackDown that you possibly want to see Punk go against, Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is another one of those guys that can do it all. He has the in-ring ability, and he's also, once again, phenomenal on the microphone. He's funny, he's witty, he's passionate about wrestling. I'm trying to think on the spot from Kevin Owens. Who else? Maybe you got some other young talent that Punk could possibly help, like Grayson Waller or Austin Theory or whatnot. There aren't too many other guys, really. When I think about the rosters, they feel, when you look at the show, it feels like there's a lot of people. But when you think about people matching up against other people, it don't really seem like it's not really like. I know AJ Styles I think it might be injured at the current time or whatnot. But that might be a good matchup too, Both of them are, once again, phenomenal performers, in-ring abilities and whatnot. Who else can I think about? I think you might get a crossing of the paths between Logan Paul and CM Punk at some point. Randy Orton, who's now on SmackDown, and CM Punk. So probably those are probably the matchups between Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. I would like to see CM Punk possibly potentially have against other wrestlers or whatnot. What else? And the other big news is, is Randy Orton returning after almost 2 years of being injured, and he came back at Survivor Series looking phenomenal. Looks like he's in the best shape of his life, ready to see what they want to do with him. He's just signed a contract to SmackDown, so he's going to be on SmackDown Friday nights, and he's going back with the Bloodline. And started off, he gave Jimmy Uso RKO, so we might see Randy Orton and LA Knight team up and do some stuff against the Bloodline for a minute before one of them again try to go up against Roman Reigns. So we might get Roman versus Randy at Royal Rumble. That's what I'm thinking. That might be pretty solid for the time being, but I feel like there's a lack of people that they want to push to go against Roman Reigns. Like they had LA Knight go against Roman Reigns, and they was building him up, and then they put him against Roman Reigns, and it's like, why did you guys do that so soon? Like, I think they should have let him win the U.S. title first, and then get to that point. I don't want to put people like that into like this awkward middle limbo where they kind of get lost again. And so when you think about people who could take losses against Roman, I think it is Randy Orton, because he's solidified as a Hall of Famer. He's one of the greats. And then you think about who else can come back and fight against Roman, besides Randy. I don't know. You'll see. I think I'm going to keep the first episode kind of short, just so I can try to get a feel of what else I want to do and talk about. But like I say, man, give me your thoughts about CM Punk coming back, about Monday Night Raw, about Randy Orton returning, Randy Orton being on SmackDown. How much are you looking forward to a possible CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. You know, are you happy to see Punk back in WWE? Would you have preferred him to have things working out back in AEW? You know, are we getting that CM Punk that might have been the problem at AEW, or are we getting a CM Punk that says he's changed in WWE, and what does that change actually mean for him to be in WWE? So, I mean, till next time, this is Ringside P signing off. Like, subscribe, share, comment, you know, about, like I said, about everything. And until next time, which I'm probably going to try to do this weekly. I haven't made my decision on what day it's going to drop. Possibly Monday mornings sometime. Just give me time to kind of go over Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, and then we'll drop it Monday, you know. But also, there's going to be a link in the description. Hit that link. You can find out what's in this bag here. I got a review video for this bag. What's inside this bag. It's pretty dope. Also goes along with the name of the podcast, Superkick Podcast. Obviously, Shawn Michaels Heartbreak Kid. But you want to see what's inside this bag. So make sure you hit that link in the description and check it out. Like that video too, comment. And I say, adios.